This episode is sponsored by Cham Dipping Sauce. It's like a spicy Vietnamese dipping sauce, really good. Use promo code Anthony Rogers or the link in the description for a discount. Bam.
You are now watching the best show in the universe. It is called The Anthony Rogers Show. You probably wish that this was your show. But it is not your show. It is The Anthony Rogers Show. Tell everyone you know to watch this show. Enjoy.
Today's guest is Ryan Katsu Rivera, producer of the Gavin McInnes podcast, Get Off My Lawn, on Censored TV. Welcome back to the greatest show in the universe. I just arrived in my DeLorean, this interview with legendary producer Ryan Katsu Rivera. How you doing, man?
How's it going?
Yeah.
Legendary producer, that's cool, man. I mean, there's different levels of producers, for sure.
Yeah.
There's me, Red Band, and then below me is Jamie. I don't know why I said me first. Jamie from Broken.
I think so. Yeah, Rogan's got like that fat guy now who just like pretends like he's a comedian. Like, what's his name? Tim Dillon or something. He's like this like fat guy. He's like, I don't know. He looks like Roseanne.
Yeah, he's fun. Did you know he's gay?
I couldn't tell.
Dude, I know.
I'm joking.
Oh yeah. You know what? I never could tell.
Yeah.
I was like, when it was out that he was, I was like, I did not read that.
He seemed like a guy that likes biscuits and gravy. Like, he seems like
Oh hell yeah.
a lot.
About that.
A fucking lot. So you do okay. So introduce to listeners who don't know or viewers who don't know. As I imagine people are listening. There's some that do. The people who follow you no matter what we already know. But so you're producing Get Off My Lawn right now.
I am.
That's legendary. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
Dude, that show is so fun. Like, did you do were you on the Rebel Media stuff too? Was that you or?
I helped him shoot like Miles McInnes stuff for that. He was doing Rebel stuff back at Compound Media too.
Okay.
So I think I loaned him my guitar for one of them. For the other one, I was like in one. He was like, "I'm just gonna snap my fingers and become Asian Gavin so I could say things about Asian people." And then I did with him.
That's hilarious.
So, but for CRTV, like at a couple months before they canned him because there was that merger, the Blaze CRTV merger.
Right, and
And it's kind of like unknown, if it was whether there's Glenn Beck that didn't want him on there or something, or it was just heat from the Proud Boys stuff that they as a company decided on. But we were with CRTV for a while until that happened. So.
Are you the guy they named it at the Proud Boys after, or are you that producer?
No.
Oh, is it another kid? Okay, yeah, no, okay.
That's Ben Ratner. He's a
yeah.
He's like a nerdy Jewish guy. Clearly, I'm like an alpha Chad, so that no Proud Boys group would be started because of me. I need help.
I like the kind of controversy you guys get because it's basically just like retarded criticism. Like none of it makes any sense and it's always hilarious. Like I think they called you like a multiracial Nazi, like or something like you've been called a multiracial Nazi.
Yeah, there was that. It was an article on Medium.com, I think, but it was a joke article. But things are so retarded that it seems believable.
Yeah, like it's always weird hearing somebody be called a Nazi after like the party died in '45. It's like a weird thing. Like it's like a really dumb like thing to say. Like it makes dumb people feel smart or aggressive. Maybe I don't know.
It's crazy. I just watched this thing. I think it was Will Witt on PragerU, and he was going around L.A. Hollywood Boulevard and asking people if they know what the Holocaust was, and they didn't.
Huh.
Like, well, I mean, they cut all the people who didn't, but it was a lot of people who didn't know.
There was a movie.
Country.
There's a movie called Auschwitz, where my friend like interviewed like a bunch of German high school kids about like the Holocaust, and they didn't know anything about it.
That's wild.
No, it's crazy, and like that's probably why nobody notices what's going on right now. They're like, no, it's just TV telling me how to live my life like normal. It's like they don't even like understand like the threat we're in almost. Like I don't know.
That reminds me of this video I saw where it was like they were asking Japanese people if they knew the significance of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They're like, I don't know.
That's crazy.
What? Like, how do you not know?
Yeah, censorship maybe.
Now?
Yeah. Dude, I was watching Tom Green like on YouTube. Like he did like a Japanese special where he went to Japan. He's just yelling shit, and like I just realized everyone in Japan could speak English. They just don't want to tourists. Like, I was watching it happen. I got on edibles. I'm like, dude, they all know. They know what he's saying, and they're just like, fuck this dude. Like, it's like weird.
I wonder. I mean, I think aren't they? I don't know, but I heard that they were stubborn on English, where like you kind of have to know some Japanese to get around. It's
Well,
not
they
like
won't address it. Like they know it, but they won't address you. They won't they won't even like it. Not like as a whole, but like a lot of people there, like we're taught English in like high school and shit or like younger school, you know.
don't want to even bother. You know what? I could relate. I mean, um, it's like what can you really talk about? And Japanese are kind of like they're for the most part like very com- computerized. They're very like
Yeah, working.
structured, regimented people. But when they let loose and they party, they're like a really fun, wild people. But for the most part, they're like, there's no need, there's no
Yeah.
need in that. So
Yeah. It's like once everybody comes to America, they just party, no matter what. Like in their own countries, they're all like doing different shit. Everybody's just doing a bunch of shit. Like, but anyway, that's anyway. So what got you into producing like originally? Is this something you wanted to do, or like you just like were good at it, or?
never like, but
That's
I'd rather do nothing else though. It's like the best. But what's up? My girlfriend's wandering around. Can I help you?
Because I don't know where my music is.
Oh shit, she's got to find her mate. Yeah, you can poke her.
We'll
out.
help her. We'll help her together. We'll all help her.
See, you're not so bad, us
SOS.
guys. I'm sorry, honey. So yeah, what I was doing, like the whole reason I met Gavin was because he was on Compound Media, which was Anthony from Opie and Anthony got
Right.
fired. From Opie and Anthony. Are you an Opie and Anthony fan too?
No, but I know the story. Like I know the Anthony
Yeah.
Cumino went to Compound Media. Yeah.
I love Opie. I still listen to Opie. It's like one of the few things I do listen to. I listen to Tim Pool, Opie and Anthony, like old O&A, obviously.
Yeah.
And a little bit of Jim and Sam, kind of. But anyway, so
Those are the bigger shows right now. Those are huge shows right now. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, if I was in your field more, like I mean, I guess I am kind of to agree, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of most. I mean, I'll listen to shit on YouTube or something. I don't know. Like that's why I found like.
Opie and Anthony is so worth it. It's like you can just from there's so many different levels to why it's awesome. It's like there's the intern fights. I could promote the show because it no longer exists. It's not competition for Censored.TV. No, but what's it called? They got the intern fight, so they have like celebrity guests, you know, like, and it's kind of just funny because you get to know Opie and Anthony as just like a bunch of like knuckleheads, and then Jeff Goldblum or Quentin Tarantino comes in. You're like, let's see how they handle this. They do really well. And then there's like turmoil. There's fights between Anthony and Opie, which is fun. Jimmy just being funny. The laugh compilations. It's just such good like turn your brain off type humor if you like. Podcast. And that, you know what? The reason why I started listening to Opie and Anthony is because I loved comedy. You know, I always loved stand-up. I loved SNL when it was not trash. And so when I worked at my sushi restaurant job, I was just working in the kitchen, cooking all the food, preparing all the shit and washing, like cleaning. And every day was like about 10 to 11 hours a day, like no breaks. You just get a break whenever you can. But I love that job. It was great. It was cooking. And so I listened to Opie and Anthony because they had Louis C.K. on there. And I was like, you know, what's happening on that show is that they're having comedians on that I like, but instead of doing their material, they're just sitting there talking about stuff, being funny in the moment. And then you get to watch that little spark of funny happen. So I was like, this is like addicting. So I would just like listen to that. And my coworker was an Ecuadorian guy and my boss was a Korean guy. So it was like, humor doesn't translate through that. You know, it's really, really hard to make somebody laugh from a different culture if there's a language barrier, I think.
Oh no, you can only do like slapstick comedy probably. It's like the only transferable thing. Like everything else, like I noticed how like Indian people, like they don't think anything's funny or shocking. Like and they don't know what I'm saying because I use so much slang. I'll just say like the dumbest shit ever, and they're just like looking at me like I'm stupid. I'm like, fuck, they're calling me out for being stupid. Like I already know I'm dumb. Like they just tell you, like it's just like you feel called out when they I don't know. They're so smart. Like they eat like brain food. They're always eating like food like in a weird way to eat to just be smart. I don't know. They have the most geniuses per capita. It's insane. High competition. You know, 1 billion people, so high competition.
They're an interesting, but they're fun. Like these people are so pleasant. I don't know.
They never say anything mean. They're not mean.
No, they're not. I mean, me and my girlfriend go to this vape shop by her, and it's like this Indian guy's like a friend of ours. I don't. What is his name again? Bunty. I didn't know that. I've known him for a couple months now, but yeah, he's just so nice and so great. And I've never seen an Indian mad. Actually, that's not true.
Only at the border.
There's really good videos of like Indians cursing each other out on YouTube.
Dude, yeah.
Fuck buddy, shit, fuck buddy.
And they hate Pakistan and China. Like they, like if I was Chinese or from Pakistan, they'd fucking hate me. But like they don't. I don't know.
I would hate them.
They're so aggressive. Like they're being like microwaved at the border of China. It's insane. Like
Damn.
China has like microwave guns and they're just like shooting. It's like
What?
fucking, yeah, it's like crazy. I don't know.
Way.
Yeah, it's like Googleable. I don't know. It's like they showed it like it was like they're just microwaving people with guns like at the Indian border.
That's wild. They do have some crazy anti-personnel things, like those sonic waves or like sounds.
Yeah, so
Then there's one that heats up your flesh really hot. It's made with like some sort of waves or
Oh,
5G. Isn't it 5G that does that? It's the same technology with 5G.
I don't know about 5G, but I've heard of those guns though. I don't know what 5G does. I remember all those stories when it was coming out though. I remember like whenever Parler was a thing, it'd be all over that too. Like they're like don't get a new phone, don't update your phone. The Democrats want you to.
I kind of want to get a fucking like a Nokia flip phone or something. Because I tried to invest stock in Nokia, by the way. Robinhood wouldn't let me on. So I'm trying to sign up.
Yeah, that's a crazy story right now.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I'm in. Oh, TD Ameritrade said that too? Oh, that's a big shame. I'm in right now with. This is the new one to watch, but I'm not giving any advice. Apparently, everybody online has to say that when they're talking about stocks. I'm not giving advice, nor am I suggesting. But right now, what is it called? They jumped over to SLV, which is iShares Silver Trust. And as you can see, they bought in. This is one that they like to short to make money and like control the whole world currency system. And somebody said that if it's successful, like a short squeeze on this, then it would like disrupt the entire world economy, and then we'd be in like a cyberpunk level apocalypse, digital apocalypse. He's like, so you could do it, and if these guys do it, that's fine, but they could be. That's what we'd be looking at afterwards. So that sounds scary enough.
Yeah.
But they're probably gonna shut it down, so I can't sell it in the morning or something. Fucked up.
I'm just gonna take castles and shit. I don't know. I'm just like, I'm like get some people together and start taking castles and shit. You know, whatever the fuck you want, because like I mean, ancient art, castles. You know, I'm like, oh, no economy. Oh, that sucks. I guess I have to take things.
I want like, dragons and shit. I want cool lasers. Like the reason why we can't have nice things, like a small group of, you know, what's really not fair is like all these cool things in the world, like the internet. Like for the most part, all the people that right now that are experiencing censorship, they're just good people, and people that are they get kicked off the largest platform for interacting with. I like interacting with people online. I like existing online. Yeah. And I'm on my third Instagram, my second Twitter, no Facebook. I'm still on YouTube for some reason, but I feel like that's going to go soon too. Parler completely got shut down. It's just like I just know like such good people that happen to be conservative and happen to support Trump, and there's not like a malicious bone in their body, nor would they ever do anything or think anything extreme or anything, but just to blanket, it's just like, it's really rude. Like we're so tangled up in it, like on the show, and you know, in the job, you have to be informed of the little tiny spats going on. Well, this article came out and this guy said this, so that's pretty cool. It's like these little moments, but if you just zoom out, it's just really rude what they're doing to people. It's really bad form. They're really jerks.
They're basically they're basically just projecting. Like they're basically just describing us like conservatives as like everything they are.
Yeah,
that's like all they're doing.
I think a large part of saying insensitive things
is awesome.
Is awesome.
It's fucking awesome.
Everybody wants to do it, and you know, taking a moment to question whether a woman is a woman because it's a guy dressed up in a dress, like taking a second to be like, I don't think that's not real. Like that's a thing that happens in your head, in your brain, you know, but what everybody that is progressive or is in the fear of the wrath of progressive do is they're like, no, I think, you know, my daughter could date a fucking upside down binary pansgender-itis kitten, but inside they're like, this sucks. But when they see other people speaking freely, they're like, well, I'm doing my part, you know, like I'm behaving, and so why you shouldn't be able to say what you want to say.
Yeah,
So
it's like the mask thing. No, it's the mask things like that too. Like I'll see like people like that know me. They're like, "Why is he not wearing a mask? I have to wear one." I was like, "So I'm not a bitch. I don't know." Like, like fucking
exactly.
just standing here, motherfucker. Like,
The enforcement lies within like the jealousy of
yeah,
freedom. It's not like I want you to wear this mask because it's a mandate for. They don't care about the power of it. Where they're like,
yeah,
Cuomo says you should wear it, so you should wear it. They're like, I have to fucking wear it. Right.
yeah. It's like I don't know. I just like that's another issue. It's like an IQ test to me, especially around Missouri. I feel like it's more of an IQ. In certain places you have to wear it. I feel like more so, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's like an IQ. Like you're in New York, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Your shit's super locked down, like right or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thankfully, like I can spend enough time outside of the city to, like my grandparents live like outside the city. I pretty much grew up there. So I grew up in the Bronx for a little bit, and then we moved upstate, and for like the majority of my life, I lived up there. So it's like country-esque, you know?
Yeah, you're in Missouri's kind of like that too. Like St. Louis is like a smaller version of New York City, and then you have like the like Ozarks and all this dope shit. Like it's kind of like if you're outside of the city, it's awesome here too. Because like I mean, I used to like the city quite a bit, and then like all these they started like curfews, all this crazy shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Like I saw how this movie ends. Like they're getting like spy planes and shit. They're getting like they passed a law to have like some kind of like drones like spy things, and I'm
I
just
like
like,
that.
dude, fuck that,
Yeah, yeah.
fuck that. I'm
It's
not even
it's
a criminal. I'm not even a criminal, and I'm like, fuck that. Like, even it's like, it's crazy.
really sick and twisted here. I don't know if enough people out there are praying or have like a substantial amount of faith in there. That most of the people that I know do, but I think a majority of the world like belongs to the devil, like the actual. I don't
I
know.
agree.
If you watch the show, Gavin was recently saying he's like, we used to say it like a metaphor, like you're like, oh man, that's the devil when you see that, like when people are like meth or something, or like they're going fucking nuts, or they're like doing suicide by cop. You're like, that's the devil. And he's like, no, now it's like literal, like they're like a red guy with horns.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it was so funny.
No, that's so real though. It's so real. I didn't know anybody else saw that, but I definitely see that. No, it's crazy. It's like because like the evil people are falling for all the propaganda. Like they're either and like I link trauma to it too. It's weird. Usually some kind of, I'm not gonna go into what kind of trauma, but some kind of fucking like trauma that's not resolved, and then like not believing in God. Those are the two things I found relatable to everybody that believes this bullshit. Like the two, they're just common. It's like I'm like, do you, like, I'm like, it's an atheist that had like trauma or something. And there's the two things that click with everybody that believes this shit. And then everybody else is just staring like, what? Like I was like, I had like the summer off and shit because I was like, I was just doing whatever I wanted. And everybody went to cuck mode, and I go back, and everybody's like in cuck mode. I'm like, what? I was just like fucking I was on the river all summer and shit, like getting fucked up and partying and shit. Nobody gave a fuck out there. And then I come back and like to the city, everybody's like, oh yeah, you got to wear a mask and an Uber. And I just like delete my Uber app. I'm like, fuck this. I'm getting a fucking moped and fuck you guys. I'm not riding Uber. It's like, I don't know. It's
It's
insane.
weird. It's like they're either forcing you to cooperate with, the mask shit, or just be a hermit. And like I kind of don't have a problem with that. But that's what sucks too, is like online I'm barely allowed to exist.
Yeah, just for being how you know. Yeah, for sure. No,
So
that's crazy. You're way more. I have things deleted, but you guys are way more deleted. Like not your whole like crew and stuff. Like that's crazy. Yeah, I don't believe in censorship at all. Like I don't believe in any of that shit. I think the criminals like deleting you guys and like deplatforming Alex Jones in a place you call like you say you have freedom of press. It's like, where's the freedom of press at?
yeah.
Like where the fuck is it at?
It just doesn't exist. The Second Amendment doesn't exist.
Yeah, no amendments do really. It's like fucking insane.
The First Amendment. I mean, this kid got arrested, a Twitter user, I think, for like election interference, because he said he told people to like vote him in or something, or do something. I haven't read it, honestly. I just got a News Voice. News Voice is actually pretty based.
I use that shit. Yeah,
You use News Voice?
Yeah. Because like it just gives me a notification for every article and shit. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah. I just know what's going on.
People that don't know, or I don't know if you said it on the show, but it tells you if it comes from the right, from a tech magazine, from the left. Like it tells you.
There's more details. Yeah.
Bias. It tells you the bias of it. And there's comments on it and stuff like that. It's pretty good way to get news. I just get my news from the show. Like, so a lot of the times I'll hear something that Gavin says, go to 1-9, and I pull up the article, and it's the first time I'm hearing of it. So you just hear me on my stupid mic just like, whoa.
Dude, I'll just tear through his videos, man. I'll tear through that shit. Like that get off my lawn shit's good, man. And like I like all of his stuff, but like but that shit's good as fuck, man. Like it was good seeing him back on the internet and stuff, because like I like how like you guys are all like still just like, all right, I still have a show. It's just all like not on the platforms you told me I can't be, but I still have a show. It's like I love that aspect. It's like punk rock, and I like that. It's like because it's like you can't give up. Yeah, these people are. I mean, these guys are cucks. Like they accuse that guy of election interference, and they're the guys in doing the election interference. Like you'd always tell. Yeah. They like cheated visibly, and we have evidence, and they delete the evidence, and then like it just doesn't make any. Yeah, they just project everything. Like you could literally just take notes on what they call you. If they call you racist, they're racist. If they call you this, you're like, okay, so now I understand you fucking idiot. Like, have you ever read a Freud book in your life? Do you even? Like, it's like they don't even understand they're telling on themselves. Yeah. It's like Jesus Christ.
It's so Freudian that they're like you're a fucking racist. Right, come on, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they don't know about Oedipus. They don't. Yeah.
It's Freud.
And you could like tell them, you can tell them to read this book, and like they don't even fucking understand. It makes no sense. I was in an argument with a professor the other day. Like she was telling me that she only gets information from peer-reviewed articles, and I was like, so in order to get information, you have to like read a peer-reviewed article. Like someone in conversation can't just have a good idea. Like you don't think of your own thoughts. And she's like, well, how do you get thoughts if you're not reading them? That's what she asked me. She goes, how do you get thoughts if you're not reading them? And I'm like you think them, you fucking retard. It's like I'm listening to these like the dumbest people ever, and she's a professor. And it's like, what are you teaching people? What are you fucking teaching people?
They're teaching them how to be an absorbent sponge, like that, like that's how they got there. So like, I'm going to teach them how to be the absorbent sponge that I was to get here. That's not critical learning, which critical thinking.
Yeah.
Which some schools, you'll be surprised to know, is that no matter what they teach you, no matter what bias that they spin our history in or whatever, they teach you the core is that you think for yourself and you're allowed to speak against stuff or ask questions and stuff. But we're not allowed to ask questions anymore. There was some article that was like really spooky. It's pretty much all spooky.
Yeah.
You know, so I just tend to like play guitar and a little bit of video games and.
Yeah. I thought the death of Western civilization would be more fun when I was a kid. like if you told me it was going to decline in my 30s, I'm like, when you're 30 in your 30s, the Western civilization is going to disappear, and I'm like, that'd be fun, probably. I don't know, I'm down. I mean, kind of just to see what happens, at least, you know, just to view it. But I'm like, this is the most. Was Nazi Germany just boring to watch? Was it just like it's like, oh man, I'm in a cage. This just sucks. It was like it's like this sucks.
It's such a slow roll that it's like if you have a kid and they're growing over time, you don't really notice it. But if you haven't seen your little cousin in a while, you're like, what the fuck?
That's real, yeah.
What happened to you in the past year? You grew. And then right now it's like slowly becoming Cyberpunk or like Fallout. But like, it's just funny because the people in Fallout, instead of like battling rad roaches, they're just walking around like, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
You know, everything is slowly kind of getting there. I mean, you're going to see a lot of empty storefronts too, like all these businesses going under.
Oh, so many businesses went out already. Yeah, I mean,
it's really wild to think about how many people's livelihoods are actually destroyed. It's fucking, it's pretty wild to think about. Like, I'm in such a lucky spot, a blessed spot that is rare. You know, like there was, even when I was working at Compound Media too, and like, this isn't something that I tried for at all, but I wanted to do impressions. So back to the Opie and Anthony thing. So I was listening to Opie and Anthony, and then I knew Anthony was starting his own Compound Media thing. So eventually, this is how I signed up. I was listening to the best of, they had like on YouTube, like free clips. And the free clip that got me interested, where I wanted to hear the rest of the interview, wasn't Anthony, because I know Anthony. I know him on the show Opie and Anthony. And I was like, it's not the same. And it's not enough to get me to sign up at the time. I later, you know, started loving Anthony's show. It was just different. But Gavin's show is what got me. He was doing an interview with somebody, and he was saying faggot and retard and just saying such bold things with like I can't even say, like, the first time when you hear somebody speak freely, like really freely, not like comedian. I was used to comedian uncensored, where they're like, how many dicks in that pussy? And I'm like, it's fun. But like when people are talking about like they're critiquing things that are kind of off the table. I signed up for Compound after hearing him. And so then I was doing impressions. I always loved doing impressions and stuff. So I did an impression of Pat Dixon. And he had a show on New York City Crime Report, still does, on Compound Media. And he invited me into the studio to do it in person. So I went down there, and then I kind of just like never left. I was like, well, can I come back? I got another character. Then I started impersonating other people on there, like this guy Chris Laker, who like really nobody knows, but it's such an on point impression. I got a wig and shit. I was spending a lot of money, like all of my money. All the $7,000 of debt was just commuting to the city, occasionally spending a night in a hotel when I left the studio too late to take our train back home. So the commuting, hotels, eating food, buying props like wigs and fake beards for Asian Gavin, and like all that shit. That's how I accumulated most of that debt, and it wound up paying off because I was learning. They gave me the Adobe suite, so I was learning Premiere Pro and Photoshop. And I kind of had this natural inclination for, I never had a computer of my own too. So I got my dad to buy me a computer. I was like, hey, you stopped paying me child support. And you left me when I was like 0 years old. And he was like, oh, that's fine. I was like, take computer. And I was like, and I started being able to do a lot of things on there, editing videos, editing music on there, creating music. I got this Nope Yup is like my music that I post there. And a lot of it's just using the keyboard from the laptop here on GarageBand. So it just opened up a whole world of opportunities, and I started being able to edit videos and learning how to switch cameras with the TriCaster, which is like, production software, live production software, with this kind of controller that has like all these cool lights and buttons on it with little fucking spinners and fucking whatever. So you look like the Wizard of Oz when the curtain gets pulled over. You're like fucking. So I learned to do that, and then Gavin. So I was at Compound for like 2 years, doing various shows. It's all in one studio. So you go on this guy's show. I guess hosted Gavin's show twice. So I was on his show as him, a bunch of times. And so when he left for CRTV, he was doing that for a while until his producer Dave Cast, he took another job where it was just paying ridiculous, and it was like really solid. So, Gavin, there's no hard feelings there. It was like, yeah, let's go for it. So he took that job, and then he was like, I think I was supposed to be a temporary job. I think he was like, you want to just come help me out until I find a producer? I was like, sure. And I didn't know that this would be like my life, from that point on even.
Right. No, it's interesting.
Fun ever since. It's a great way to get politics, and it's a great way to just like ignore politics and laugh at shit. Because sometimes we'll just be talking about like farts and poop and stuff.
Yeah. No, that show's funny, man. I Gavin's a hilarious dude, man, for sure. Like, I found him like we got fired from Thon Catalog at the same time, and like I was in a Washington Post article. Like they interviewed me about some dumb shit, trying to call me racist, and he was in the same fucking article, and that's how. And then he goes, co-founder of Vice. I'm like, who the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? I just looked him up, and then I see his rants and shit. I was dying laughing, dude. Like like that's how I found him. I was reading his articles and shit like that, and it was like one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen. Like I was like, I don't know. I was like,
that's nuts. Wait, so I know you were in that article. Mike told me that you were in that same article, but that's how you found.
Yeah, that's how I found out who he was from. I was in the same article as him because they're like co-founder of Vice, Gavin McInnes, and I'm like, what? That's a dope title. Who the fuck's this guy? Normally I just think I skimmed the article. The article sucked. It was like some boring ass article. Like they made him sound boring and me sound boring, which like you have to really try to make Gavin sound boring. Like they really tried, I think, to make it was just like, but it was just like so boring and that's how I googled him and I'm like, holy fuck, and went down that rabbit hole. Like,
I gotta see that article. That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think they called me a white supremacist or something, and they called him like transphobic or something. It was just like if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, it was just fucking. It was like the driest. Like it was just some fucking liberal idiot called you and like answered. Like you answer all these questions, he's gonna still write whatever he wants. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, he offended me because I'm fucking 5 and like words hurt me. And it's like, and like I make rules now. It's like I make rules as I'm offended. It's like
the offended thing. Like I get that being polite is ideal, but if we can't exist as imperfect people, which is pretty much what it is. Like I mean, like even lefties who make one mistake on Twitter like 10 years ago, like Kevin Hart couldn't post. You think he made a gauge it? Like, come on.
Yeah.
And it just, you know what? It starts to put in perspective how unimportant these things are. Like all right, I'm on my third Instagram, but when I got banned from Instagram, I was like, you know what? I'm a fucking adult. I don't need my little pictures. Look at me, my pictures. And I was like, just fucking sign back on just to see what's going on.
Well, it sucks when you're promoting shit, man. Because like it was like when Donald Trump got deleted, my Facebook got deleted, and then I'm like, fuck social media. They're spying on me all the time. And then I released a podcast, and I'm like, man, I don't have any way to promote this. Like, I'm like signing back in here. I'm like activating everything back up again. I'm like, okay, fuck.
It's great. It's not just a playground. It's the way you fucking exist.
Yeah.
And so many things are plugged into the grid, and when they unplug you from that, it's just like, good luck. You know,
Yeah.
like people can't work, people can't exist online. I wonder how this is going to play out. I mean, I don't know. And then so this whole stock market thing, you know, which is, you know, Trump got a lot of people that weren't political into politics for the first time ever, excited about politics.
For sure.
Me being one of them. Like I voted for
Same,
Obama
same.
the first term, didn't vote from the second term, and then voted for Trump. And then this whole stock exchange thing, I think is the same thing. You know, I knew about Bitcoin and fun things, but like this is a way to make that old geezer ass shit fun. You know, because they're like undercutting.
Yeah.
Like just people getting together, and they banned them on Discord, the Wall Street bets. So the Reddit thing had to become private.
Yeah.
And so they can't really organize the same way that they were before. But
That's
like,
what they do.
It's pretty glorious what they did.
No, that's what they do. They take your network out. They did the same thing like right before something happened. Right before inauguration. They cut my account again right before inauguration. And they'll do this. They'll cut you out of all your communication basically because like they don't know how to communicate outside of that. So it's like you mean most people in my area don't even fucking use the internet, man. Like, I mean they do, but like not a lot, not as much as like a producer does. I mean you have to be skilled on it. Like it's not their jobs, you know. It's like most of these people are just like they don't give a fuck about shit like that. So it's like you wouldn't change much in Missouri really. Like it would just be like, oh okay, now like we still have guns, we still have whatever. It's like we have the mountains. It's like, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. They seem insane and aggressive, and I'm trying to figure out why.
I think it's because like the keyboard warrior, like the protection of anonymity online, and also the protection and safety of distance away from. You know, here's a weird thing. I want to start doing. I always have these ideas for like podcasts because I'm like, maybe I should do a podcast, but I want it to be a theme, and like one of them is, this could be a segment in it where somebody I genuinely don't like, I pretend they're in the room because like I am never just rude to people. I just don't find that it doesn't feel good for. I don't know, for a selfish reason. I'm not rude to people. Like it feels better for me to be nice.
No, you're in touch with your soul. It's better for everyone's soul. They just don't act on it. You just act on it. Like,
yeah.
Everybody
But
feels
online,
that.
it's like, look at this fucking piece of shit. But like, if there was some transsexual, transgender that was like, hi, my name is Amy, and it's a guy, I'd be like, hi, Amy, what does Zer want to do today? I wouldn't be rude to them.
Yeah.
But you know what gets us fueled up against this is because they're like, instead of the trans people, although you'll see some trans people like, you have to call me Sandy, but like, media will be like, hey, listen, if you don't call them this, we're gonna fucking fine you and you're in trouble. And so how are you not supposed to hate that person?
Right.
The person's like, no, it's fine. You can call me Jim.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop there, she said.
Yeah, because then now it's like the thing in media where they're like, if you don't date transgender people or if you're not attracted to transgender
Right.
You're homophobic for not being gay.
You have to just have just surrounded by all sorts of genitals that you don't recognize in order for you to be okay.
Yeah.
And I understand why leftists are pissed too. If they're eating all of this horse shit.
Yeah.
Their stomach is full of it, and their stomach's gurgling with like just horse shit, like actual horse manure. I don't know why I said that, by the way, but let me move on. Actual horse manure. Then they're pissed because they're like, why aren't you eating your daily shit? You're like, I don't know, just don't wanna.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. I don't know. Like, I got free
People
will.
trying to wake up with the mask thing, though. I mean, for real.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, like people that you would gather that maybe they're not politically. It's not a political thing anymore. I think certain people can put the mask down, or they just have it here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
right.
You know,
All right.
I've not seen anybody really scold me for it. Maybe one or two.
Yeah. It's like, all right, Trump's not president. Can we stop wearing masks? Like, fuck. It's like so dumb. It's like it makes no. Yeah, dude. I I've worn like maybe 3 times. I didn't want to argue. He's like, I like my mom, take my mom to the hospital or something like something like that. But day to day, fuck off. Like people like Lion's Choice are like, you can't come in here without a fucking mask. I'm like, I'm not listening to a Lion's Choice cashier's advice on my life. It's like no offense, but fuck you. You know, like straight up. You're not telling me how to fucking dress. It's like, I don't know, wear a different hat, you jackass. I mean, it's like fucking. That's what it feels like. It's like. Yeah. It's just like annoying. I'm like, I just keep ordering. I'm like, I'll take 2 number, whatever. And then the staff are like, look at me like, thank you, free us. Almost like they're like, free us, like almost like that's what their souls looking like. And I'm like, you guys just fall into this. Like it's like you just do whatever. I don't know.
You'll get the bold people that are wearing the masks and they fucking hate it, and they see somebody not wearing it, and they're like, fucking kill. Yes, tell them. Like there was 2 guys there with the mask. I always have one like this. Now, these guys had literally, it wasn't even hanging on their ears. It was just off. And I was like, fucking you guys. And I just took mine off, put it in my pocket, and I was like, fuck you.
You're in a bigger police state. Because like I think New York City's a lot different. Like I mean, because like the same way, if I go to a doctor or something, I'm not gonna argue with them right now. I'm taking my mom there. I'm not gonna like fucking. I'm not like okay, like let's take a pause for figuring out what's wrong and yell at you real fast. It's like pick your battles, yeah. Pick your battles for sure. But any other time, fuck off. If it's not for my mom, fuck off. That's straight. I'm like that's the only person I respect in this world. It's like so there's like I don't know. They're like I'll go somewhere. I went to a hotel or some hotel party. I'm like fucking trash. They're like. And we're all breathing the same circulated air, and they're just like, "Where's your mask?" And I'm like, "I'm not a cuck," and they're just like, didn't even say anything back. They didn't even respond back to me at all. And they're like, "Oh, I don't argue with this guy right now. He's like fucking 6 foot tall and has a beard. I'm getting the fuck out." You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
they just want to argue with me.
It don't make no damn sense if like you're in a place that allows you to take the mask off when you sit down. Then it's not real. It's not real. Then
we'd all be dead. We'd all be dead.
Air is air.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody who's listening to this hopefully knows that. But I mean, it's just something that I can't even like get used to and take that fact for granted. It's just so present when you're walking around and you're seeing that shit.
It was like an IQ test. I was surprised. I feel like Anne Frank for the first 2 weeks of this. I'm like so trashed in my house. I'm like trying to have people over still, and everybody's like, no people. And I'm like, I have people over. I'm like, I gotta smoke cigarettes outside, like 2 at a time. I'm like, all right, and shifts to 2, so the fucking neighbors don't tell I'm hiding upstairs. And he's like, what the fuck, you from the Nazis? It just felt insane. It felt insane.
How many people do you have in your house? Well, what kind of stogies you smoke?
What kind of what?
Stogies.
Oh, it was just cigarette. I just bummed cigarettes when I'm fucked up. And my buddies would go, I'm not like a normal, so I smoke weed more than anything. But I'm like,
Marlboro Reds though, if you had to buy a pack.
Oh man, I haven't bought it back in like fucking forever, since high school probably, man. I don't know, Marlboro 27s maybe. I'm not a normal smoker. I just smoke when I'm fucked up, and then like I just like usually I'll get somebody drunk or something. I'll give me some
cigarette. Marlboro Red.
They're pretty good. Those are pretty good.
They're tasty.
Yeah.
But it's just that I can't smoke inside is the deal. That's why this vape thing is great.
Yeah.
I didn't get this to stop smoking cigarettes. I got this to smoke almost every minute of my life, and it works. I do it on a plane. Weird thing about this, though, you put it in your pocket, and you like when you take off, the pressure is such that it like just starts like bleeding out tons. Like the whole whatever's in your tank will bleed out in your pocket. Sometimes I wear a suit supply because it feels all fancy schmancy. And by the way, that's another thing too. Like I like LARPing. Like I have I have the same beanie. It's a brown Carhartt beanie. I love my Carhartt beanie. Oh, she's gonna get it from me. I like LARPing as different things, and one of them's like businessman guy. And I was looking at old footage of like even like the 50s, 60s. Even all right, so the 60s is when you start seeing a lot more casual like jeans, t-shirts, things like that. But for the most part, the uniform from the 50s and before that was like fucking suits.
Yeah, yeah.
And like look at old footage of New York City, and it's just like all suits.
You're right. Yeah.
Cool. Kind of cool to be among all suit people.
Gavin's like that. I feel like Gavin's like that. Like he's always dressing like the guy from Falling Down.
Yeah.
Like you ever seen him? That's why he's always wearing suits. No, like you're saying. Like I think he's always doing that shit. Like
I love the suit thing. I used to wear suits like in a really retarded way. Like you just, like almost like a real estate agent or a bank teller, like somebody that has to wear a suit, just like all shitty.
Yeah.
But I started taking a lot more pride in it and like looking at like what does it mean to wear a pocket square and what kind of colors go with what, the patterns over history and shit like that. It's really interesting. Like patterns and fabrics is something that I normally wouldn't have given a shit about, but like what is gingham plaid? Where's that come from? Gingham fucking Britain?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or where does like Glen plaid come from? Is that from like Scotland or some shit? It's kind of interesting. All these things that I never would have thought about. I like craftsmanship and stuff like that. But in a suit, you get to like wear a pajama like thing. You should get
Yeah.
a suit. You should get a suit.
Yeah, I have two feelings on suits. Like I feel like if I wear a suit, like I feel like everyone just thinks I'm gonna park their car or something. Because like nobody, because it's the same thing as like whenever like I think like some people think like, well, some people, if you have the right energy, it works. Like if you have the right energy, a suit works. But if you don't, the way you're just like parking someone's car, you look like, I don't know the other, like I had this other route I was going, but I'm so fucked up with these edibles I ate. But I had a good story, but I forgot. It was like
I'm on
it was,
Kratom.
you kratom. I've never taken that. What's that like?
It's fun.
You're smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I say some like Jolly Rancher edibles, I was like, I'm gonna sound fun. He's like, I figured you're producing a show, and the other guy's like, the other guy's that one guy that does he does like weather reports. If you watch this,
McDonald.
yes, he's on next. He's on like by a couple minutes. He's on later, but so I was like, so I was like,
he was on Creepy Corner, another show on Compound Media. So I've Skyped with him before.
Do you wanna if you're not doing shit, you could be on the next one too. Like I'm just saying, but no, I had a fucking great metaphor. I feel like they say, okay, you know how people view a limo? Like, they're like, man, if I was rich, I'd have a limo. But then like when you actually make money, it's like that's just for prom. Like, I mean, it's like that's like what kids do on prom. Rich people don't do that. I mean, it's like the same thing with the suit. I feel like the same way with the suit. Unless you have the energy, like if you have the right energy for the suit, it's like yeah, you like rock it. Some people can rock it, like those '50s people you're talking about. But a lot of people today, like they just look like they fucking like. I'm like, I don't know, like should I tip this guy? I mean, it's like what the fuck is he a wait? Is he a waiter?
For walking past me.
Yeah, is he a waiter or something? I don't fucking know. It's like, is that like, so you have to have the right energy, I think, and you to pull a suit off, I think. I don't know.
I think this hair, my hair and your beard and my axe. I've never watched Lord of the Rings, but I quote that real quick. Somebody on Twitter that I was like, this can kiss my ass, and then somebody said, and they can suck my balls, and I was like. And then I put a gif of like that dwarf guy with the axe. He was like, and my axe. And I just really proud of that. None of people saw that, so I'd like to air that here tonight. But the suit thing, when you look a little like edgy or rock and roll or off, like you have crazy hair or like a crazy beard, like Pat Dixon taught me this. It's like when you wear a suit, you can just be stoned riding the subway and people think that you have like some shit to do, and you don't. You could just be you could just be whatever type of person you'd like, but you just happen to be wearing a suit. Like acting like complete trash in the suit is very fun. Me, Milo, and Gavin were in DC for Roger Stone's trial, and dude, Milo had this great suit. It's like this, it's like a classic suit of like, you got your navy suit, white shirt, red tie, right? That's like that power movement.
Yeah.
You got some. He just one notch gay. Like the navy was like a little bluer, and then instead of a red tie, it was a little bit pink. So it was just like that's like so perfectly Milo, but like still perfectly like acceptable for a court thing. And then Gavin's got this great suit that he just got with little pinstripes. So we just all look great. I'm wearing my suit, and we're just like riding these scooters, bumping them into shit, and like they're chasing each other, and we're just being assholes. I think we're drunk at this point. So you could be a degenerate and wear a suit, and then people think you just have somewhere to be. It's kind of good. It's like camouflage.